What's up, everybody? This is Dominic D'Angelo of Brass Ring Media for Sunday, May 25th, 2025. Typically, I won't do one on the weekends here, but I decided to do one because I didn't do one on, I think it was Thursday. I missed Thursday because, yeah, it was Thursday because I had a busy day of podcasting. So I didn't get a good chance to do this. So I wanted to make up for it, do a make good on the first week of the Daily Wrestling Hotline and make sure I got at least 5 in. And initially I was going to maybe give my thoughts on Saturday night's main event or preview AEW Double or Nothing, but I didn't watch either. I haven't watched Saturday night's main event yet, and as of this recording, Double or Nothing has not aired. So my thought was going to be just give a little bit of thought regarding some buzz that Saturday night's main event got. And it made me really think about what some fans' wrestling literacy is in certain ways. So something that got a lot of buzz after Saturday night's main event. Like I said, I haven't watched it, but I did see the clip that I'm about to talk about, and that was Jesse the Body Ventura criticizing Damian Priest and the finish of the match, or what it seemed to that he was criticizing the finish of this match. Now, Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre fought one another in a steel cage, and basically Damian Priest won after doing a solo concerto to Drew McIntyre, and instead of climbing out of the steel cage, he walked out. And then on commentary, Jesse just kind of trashed Damian Priest for his decision to leave the cage like that. Why wouldn't you climb over? Geez, why don't you get a limo coming out? I can't do a good Jesse the Body Ventura like Karrion Kross can, but I can do an all right one, I guess. I sound almost like Will Ferrell in the voice modulation skit from Weekend Update. Down in the Baja. If you didn't know, I did interview Jesse Ventura like 2 years ago. The funny thing is maybe 10 minutes of it was pro wrestling talk. The rest was about political stuff. But I did squeeze some superstar Billy Graham talk in there, Bruno Sammartino, which segues into this topic. All right. So if you took a step back and you looked at Jesse Ventura was not crapping on the finish of this match. He was not. He's a heel, and he is criticizing a babyface for doing a babyface thing. Now, Michael Cole set the table once this finish happened. He said that that Damian Priest, to further add, what was the term? Further add, I'm going to try to look it up real quick as I'm talking. I don't think this is the term he used, but insult to injury. And it was something to that effect. But he said insult to injury, to walk out on his own volition. And yes, if you're not familiar with how a steel cage originally was set up to work, you're not supposed to really climb out of the cage. You're not supposed to escape the steel cage, okay? The duty of a steel cage is obviously it's the blow off of a big feud between two wrestlers. So, I remember Roddy Piper, Bruno Sammartino being in a steel cage. I remember, was it just Roddy and Bruno? Or yes, it was. It was just Roddy and Bruno in the steel cage. And this was like in the 80s. And Bruno didn't climb out of the steel cage to win the match. And like Bruno's been in plenty of steel cages. Plenty. Madison Square Garden. And you know what? Bruno walked out. Now, the goal of a steel cage, the original goal of a steel cage is that you would beat, and Michael Cole said this basically, is that you would beat your opponent so bad that you could walk out on your own volition. And that's the end of the steel cage. That is a definitive ending to a feud. You beat your opponent so bad that you just walk out a door and that's it. Bruno's done that plenty of times. The whole aspect of what steel cages kind of turned into was, oh, you have to escape the steel cage. No, that is not the point of a steel cage match. The steel cage match is to keep the two wrestlers in the ring, and then what you somebody walks out a winner. That's it. It's like it's like a scene in a movie where, like, I so some I'm just using this as an example. A criminal does something very, very heinous that's really beyond the pale, even of like, it's just so bad and so irreprehensible that, for example, like a cop goes off, like he goes, what's the term? Vigilante almost, where he decides to take matters into his own hands instead. So he goes against what the badge would do. He closes the door, and then off the record, boom, beats the crap out of this criminal behind closed doors. And then he walks out. That is basically what a steel cage is. The purpose of a steel cage. And Jesse was not trashing this. Jesse was being a heel, saying, like, just throwing trash and dirt at Damian Priest for making a decision that a babyface would do. And Jesse is the ultimate heel color commentator in a lot of ways. Like, he was great. That's why you bring him in. Now, did he go way, way much? I don't know. That's up for debate. But I think, I almost think Cole should have played on him a little bit more. Like, if I was in that, and Pat kind of did too. Pat kind of did. But I mean, I think, Cole would have been like, no, he beat Drew so bad that he was able to walk out of there. And that's what he's proving a point here, Jesse. That's what's going on. And Jesse could push back at that because he's the heel color commentator. It's simple stuff. Simple stuff. I was really surprised that people were like, I had a buddy text me and being like, Jesse trashed the finish of this and it was tremendous. And no, he didn't trash the finish of the match. He was doing his job and what he thought was the right thing to do when it comes to being a heel color commentator. He's Jesse the Body Ventura. What do you expect him to kind of say here? And then but people are just like, oh man, Jesse versus Damian here. This is the real feud going on. He is not trashing Damian Priest. He's doing his role as the heel color commentator, and Damian Priest played his role as the babyface who walks out on his own volition. That's it. That's it. So, like I said, I haven't watched Saturday's main event. I will probably tomorrow morning. I'll catch up on Double or Nothing. And maybe depending on what I take away from all that, I'm sure the hotline might be based, Monday's hotline, Memorial Day hotline will be based on one of those stories. There was something else I was going to say too. But if you guys like what you're hearing, by all means, like, subscribe, share, get the word out about this daily wrestling hotline. It's an homage to that man right there, Mr. Mean Gene Okerlund. And just, like I said, not giving you any scoops yet. At some point, hopefully I'll get you some scoops. But just giving you my thought on one big old topic. And if you like what you're saying, like, share, subscribe, Brass Ring Media here on YouTube. If you're really, really interested, go to the Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Brass Ring Media. Zach Haydorn has plenty of behind-the-wall content that you can take away from written content and exclusive video content too as well. He and Tyler Sage previewed Double or Nothing here that's going to be on here in just a little over an hour or so. So be sure to check a lot of that stuff out. They do great work. I'm going to be contributing to the Patreon here soon enough as well. And yes, thank you all for tuning in. If you can too, subscribe to rvdtv.com. If you're not aware, I do a weekly wrestling podcast with Rob Van Dam. And this past week we had Tommy Dreamer on there. So we've been covering a lot of Sabu, obviously, and talking about Sabu. And Tommy joined us to share some fun stories and things like that. And so it was a really fun episode. And before that, we had Taz on. So, and then I did another show with Bill Alfonso, Sandman, and RVD all together. Talk more stories of Sabu. So it was a lot of fun. It's been quite an honor of a week to do all that stuff. So if you like what you're hearing here, you want to hear some stuff from RVD, go to rvdtv.com. New episode will be up tomorrow with Tommy Dreamer at rvdtv.com early Monday morning, 4:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. For good reason. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in to the Daily Wrestling Hotline. And be sure to call 1-900-909-9900.